Hello, everybody. Welcome to the hormone class. Okay. Um, anyway, all stages and ages. I'm so glad you're here. Share this with a friend when you grab the recording later on today or tomorrow. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Haley. I am a doula, I'm a birth keeper, I'm a childbirth educator. I have been a health and wellness advocate with Young Living for almost 12 years now. It's wild. Also, what's wild is that I have 4 children because if you know anything about my health journey, I struggled with fertility for 7 years. Juliet's raising her hand. She has been with me the whole way through. Um, 7 years of fertility. It's actually a huge part of my testimony and some of the products that I'm going to share tonight. Um, one huge piece of my wellness puzzle was that when I was in midwifery school, I shot my adrenals. I was just doing births all the time and was up for 24 hours at a time and super young and thinking I was just invincible until one day I realized I was gaining weight and I couldn't lose it no matter how much I worked out. I felt like I could barely get out of bed. I was reaching for coffee in the middle of the day. My hair was falling out, and I was just at such a loss of what is going on with me. I feel like I am healthy and I feel like I eat well and move my body and what's going on with my hormones. And this put me on a great learning journey of how to regulate hormones and starting with I am going to focus a little bit on adrenals tonight, but the whole gamut of hormones. We'll walk through it at one point in this, but they all synergistically work together. And so I had to heal my adrenals, heal my thyroid. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's in 2015. And I was working with a really great NAPRO doctor, if any of you are familiar, kind of more on the holistic end of the spectrum as far as doctors go. But the really only solution they had for me was meds. And I was never really raised with Western medicine. I'm not anti it by any means, but I do like to try to go to the root problem first, heal myself, try and go through whatever options that God has for us in nature before resorting to that. Even now, I'm 35 years old. I've never been on antibiotics. I've not needed Western medicine. And so in that was I was so young. I was only like 25. I I asked the doctor like what options are for me outside of meds. And she kind of talked a little bit about nutrition, not a whole lot, but really at the end of the day was just like this is probably the way to go. And of course, she was offering what she thought was the best, most holistic meds on the market. But long story short, 6 months later, I showed up in her office with all my autoimmune diagnoses is reversed. She was completely shocked and said, "This doesn't happen. I'm not really sure what to think. Tell me what you did." I ate really strict AIP, which is like autoimmune protocol. It's basically eliminating anything in your diet that can cause inflammation. It was really hard, but I stuck to that for 6 months. I was very conscious of my stress and my sleep. So prioritizing really clearing out my schedule. And I used some of the products that I'm going to mention tonight and some oils and was really, really just diligent about that. And so my personal hormone fertility journey is my story and why I'm so passionate about helping women just take hold of their health and be able to know that there are options out there that God has given us to help our bodies heal themselves. So wherever you're at tonight, whether you are struggling to conceive like I've been, or maybe you're pregnant and feeling like you need some extra hormone support, or postpartum or menopausal or whatever, raging teenage hormones. I do believe that there's something here for you tonight. So I have taught a lot of classes over the years on a different ranges of this topic. And at the very end, I'll point you back to my YouTube channel where you can find a video just on fertility or a video just for men or aging. My mom hopped on and did a video. She's in her late 70s. So I have specifics. Tonight is like, this is for anyone and everyone. And we're specifically talking about nourishing your hormones. So if you've listened to any of my calls in the past, this one might be a little bit different, but let me just ask you a few questions. Okay. So these are, you don't have to answer these in the chat, but this is just kind of a blanket questions of like, how are your hormones? Are they running the show? So do you experience chronic fatigue? Is your hair falling out? Are your hormones imbalanced that you know of? Do you feel lightheaded? Have you lost your libido? Are you moody? Are you irritable? Do you crave things like sweet and salty foods? If the answer is yes to any of those things, it's very possible that your hormones are running the show, making you possibly worn out, anxious, annoyed, or just generally needing help. Hormones and the balance between them is crucial to our health, crucial to our vitality of life. And I really believe that as quickly as we can get them out of whack, we can also get them back into balance. So I want to encourage you tonight that your body can heal itself. We can get to the root of what's going on. Um, there's so many hormones in the body, and the ones that tend to cause havoc when they're out of balance are adrenals, thyroids, and sex hormones, because those they work in a cycle together. So I'm going to focus on those tonight mainly. Our thyroid hormones affect our sex hormones. Our adrenal hormones affect our thyroid hormones, and our sex hormones affect our adrenals. So those right there, that's the cycle that we want to get to the bottom of. When that cycle's out of balance, there's consequences for the entire endocrine system. So just a little information here. Your adrenal glands are located just above your kidneys. They're known for like the fight or flight response. And this is a good thing. This is natural. This is necessary. It protects us when we're in high situations. But the problem is that the constant stress of daily life keeps our adrenals in overdrive. So if we're tired and wired at the same time, or if we ever feel lightheaded, or if you struggle with sleep, that's a good sign that your adrenals are running the show. Okay, now the thyroid gland, this performs a myriad of tasks in your body. It's going to regulate your metabolism, your energy levels, your body temperature, and hormone production in general, which will impact just about every other system in the body. I learned when I was going through fertility that the thyroid being out of balance is the #1 cause of infertility for women, not necessarily for men, but for women. So some signs that your thyroid might need some love are things like your hair's falling out, you feel cold all the time, you're chronically tired. Those are all signs that the thyroid is out of balance. Now, as far as your sex hormones, your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, those also play a huge role in your overall health, everything from fertility and reproduction to muscle tone, to mood, to energy levels. And there's a lot of things that can affect our sex hormones. Chronic stress is a big one. Toxins that we put in our bodies or on our bodies, or toxins that we have in our home that we clean with, those all affect our reproduction and our sex hormones. Improper nutrition, low vitamin D levels, and unhealthy gut balance, yeast overgrowth, all of that negatively affects estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. So when these things are out of balance, you're going to get signs like irregular menstrual cycles, uncomfortable symptoms during those cycles, dietary sensitivities, hormonal acne, so much more. Those are just a few of those signs. So this is a very complex web of hormones, right? And so it's very normal, I would say, or common that one of these key players could be out of balance and they're affecting the rest, like a domino effect. So we're going to dive into this together. I want to encourage you, though, to have a viewpoint of a holistic view of health, meaning things are not just like black and white when it comes to our health, right? It's not just the food. That is a huge part of it, right? Sometimes it's the toxins. Sometimes it's the stress. Sometimes it's the sleep. I definitely believe that God made us tridimensional, that we are physical, emotional, spiritual. So when I approach healing on any level, I want to look at it through all of those lenses. So at some point tonight, I am going to talk a little bit about emotional health. But I don't want us to also look for answers in the black and white, right? So this is kind of what our Western medicine does. We like to feel better fast, and we like to get rid of symptoms, and we like to put a Band-Aid on it and say, okay, I feel better, right? Even when it comes to fertility, we kind of have that approach, or reproduction, we have that approach. I think of this with my kids a lot. Like my children, not because I'm anti-doctors, but my viewpoint is I'm going to go to a doctor when or if I need one. So we don't really do well visits or anything like that. And my children have never been to a pediatrician. And it's not because we haven't dealt with sickness in the home, but so far the things we've dealt with have not been outside of my scope. So a lot of times, like even last night in the middle of the night, my little 6-year-old woke me up and said, "Mommy, my stomach hurts." And I was like, "All right, come into my office. Mommy doctor is here." And we just did diatrize and we prayed and we anointed. We did a couple other things. But I think about this like a fever is a good example, right? Fevers are a great thing. That is God's way of helping our bodies, giving us the fight to fight infection, to get rid of whatever's going on in our body. And we don't want to just go take a fever suppressant because we're uncomfortable, right? That's like probably the most common go-to for people. We can do things like our family does. We apply lemon and peppermint to the spine and to the feet. We want to make our kids comfortable, but we also don't want to stop that process. We want their bodies to do a good job and fight off infection. So while we're not getting rid of the fever, we can make them comfortable. So we're going to approach this whole topic with this holistic view of health. Just in case anyone is new here, when it comes to oils, because I'm going to mention some oils tonight, just a little bit of science about them, because that also is what makes these supplements that I'm going to mention really, really special. I love getting into the science. If you are a fellow nerd and want the deep end, like I like to know how these things work on a cellular, molecular level, then at the end, when I give you my YouTube channel, find my videos. I've got 2 parts called The Science of Essential Oils. But really all I want to say is what essential oils are. They are God's way of giving the plant their immune system. And then whatever they're doing in the plant, they also are able to do the same things in us. This is really essential oils harness the incredible power of nature. They're extremely aromatic compounds, which is why they smell so fragrant. They're naturally found in all living plants. So you're going to find them in everything from flowers and shrubs to roots, to leaves, to the bark of the tree, stems, all parts of the plant. The power of the essential oil lies in its individual constituents and then the synergy between those different constituents. And really, those things are basically the individual compounds and pieces of the plant's innate systems. So, some examples of constituents of essential oils would include things like terpenes, monoterpenes, and phenols. Those are just a few examples. These chemistry words basically describe the physical structure of the constituent, and they all have a myriad of uses and benefits. What really is the most important, though, y'all, what I want you just to understand why the shape matters is that these essential oils have a predominantly ring-like structure and it's lipid soluble. And why we should care about that is because this allows essential oils to penetrate our cell membranes and travel easily throughout our blood and our tissues, because our cells in our body are surrounded by a lipid membrane. And that's good. The lipid membrane is protective. It doesn't let a lot of things in, but lipid soluble essential oils are able to get into our bloodstream very, very quickly. This is another reason, though, why quality matters, because whether you are smelling them, rubbing them on your body, they're getting in your bloodstream. But if it's pure, if like Young Living's oils have no fillers, no synthetics, nothing added, not even water, they're just the plant, they will not get stored in the body. So that is part of like the danger of a pharmaceutical is you can have toxic overload if things get stored in the liver and they're not processed properly, right? That doesn't happen with pure essential oils because there's no storing in your body. So that's a lesson for us that while we're using oils for different remedies, it's not just a one and done. So yes, we use lemon, like I'm using lemon right now for mental acuity, so I can remember all the things I want to say. And it's not just one time that I have to use this, because as quickly as it comes in, it can also leave. And so when we're dealing with health issues, this is a wonderful natural tool for us to go to, right? God gave us plants. He gave us this. We have to use them often until we get the desired effect, because our body is not going to store it anywhere. We have to get them in our bloodstream often. And that's really the main thing I wanted to say about essential oils. This is what makes these supplements that I'm going to mention tonight so special, though. When we add oils to herbs, it increases absorption and it allows our body to take in more of the good of that supplement and use more of the good stuff, and also to eliminate bad stuff and things that we're dealing with in our bodies that we need to get rid of. So I always reach, if Young Living has a supplement that's I can compare from Whole Foods or off somewhere else on the counter, I'm gonna choose Young Living's. We do have supplements from other companies, but like if Young Living has a B vitamin versus another company, I'm gonna choose that strictly because the oils are in that, and I know what that's gonna do for me. So there's a lot of scientific research on essential oils. Studies over the last decade have found so many amazing things. I just wrote a few things down, but we found that rosemary, just inhaling rosemary enhances alertness and combats candida, which is amazing. Orange and lemon oil demonstrate tumor suppressing effects. Thyme oil can wash bacteria off of your produce. There's like plentiful studies on pubmed.gov. Check it out if you're interested. That is a government funded, like third party peer reviewed studies. It's not Young Living's studies on Young Living. It's going to be third parties putting that stuff out there. So it's really, really cool. So yes, Young Living is the world leader in essential oils and essential oil infused supplements. And I've used them in all of my pregnancies prior to getting pregnant and in my postpartums. If you have a specific question at the end of this about a supplement that you're wanting to know about pregnancy or breastfeeding, we feel free to ask me at the end too. So I don't think I want to go any more into essential oils so we can jump into hormones. But if you are brand new and you have a question, feel free to write that in the chat. But the ways that we use oils, there's three main ways. We do aromatic, which is diffusing. I've got my diffuser going right now, right next to me. Something called a scent tent. I've got clarity oil right here, and I'll just show you how you do a little scent tent. You just do a drop or two, and you rub your hands together to activate the properties, and then you cup it over your nose and mouth, and you take some deep breaths. I make my kids do this every single day, from everything from like physical reasons, needing to open up their airways, to emotional reasons, having a meltdown. So they know how to do the scent tent. They know it makes them feel better. The next way is internal. There's several portals that we have in our body where we can get essential oils in for different reasons. One of the main ways I do internal is when I put a drop of oil on my thumb and press it to the roof of my mouth for 30 seconds. You can make suppositories. You can fill it with a veggie capsule. There's different reasons why you might want to take it different ways. There's some that taste really good that I don't mind just drinking in water or putting in food. But please note that when you're drinking oils, because of their properties of being lipid soluble, you never want to drink them out of plastic. You want to always put them in stainless steel or glass. And then the last way is topically. And I always like to say, like, put it where it hurts. Of course, there's certain oils that are spicier. You might not want to put directly on your skin. Maybe you want to dilute it with olive oil or coconut oil. The main way I use oils on my baby and my children are the bottom of their feet or on their spine or in their belly button. All right. So before I jump into supplements though, I just feel like I have to talk about food, because a food's first approach is the way that we should always approach health in medicine. Food is medicine. And I don't think we should be using oils like we do other meds as like the Band-Aid, right? It's like, oh, I can just eat whatever I want, but let me just use a couple oils and try to combat it. We should definitely be filling our body with as much living food as we can. And specifically talking about nourishing our hormones, I'm going to give you basically 4 categories tonight of 4 ways we can nourish our hormones. And just like our physical bodies need nourishment, our hormones specifically need nourishment, because our hormones signal to one another. They signal to the appropriate cells to get whatever message across, and we want the appropriate responses. When our adrenals, when our thyroids, when our other endocrine glands are lacking vitamins or minerals or antioxidants or just nutrients in general, that's when we get out of balance. So we call this, when I get into the supplement, we call this proactive supplementation. That's, I believe, so key, because we don't always get what we need in diet. I wish we did. We don't always do. I think with modern farming practices, I think our food is lacking in minerals. It's not coming from mineral rich soil all the time. Of course, I try to shop at the farmer's market and get as fresh as possible, but that's where our hormones come into play. But let's just for like a few minutes chat about some foods. If you guys saw my reel recently on Instagram, I was talking about this class, hormones, but I didn't necessarily mention the seeds of an apple. I just showed it in the video. But seeds in general are pretty controversial. If you ever get on Google and Google the health benefits of apricot seeds or apple seeds, you're going to read mixed reviews. I think there's a reason for that, but it is good to note that seeds in general are pretty high in vitamins. Apple seeds are known to have cancer fighting properties and B17, and it's actually illegal, I think as of, oh gosh, I want to say 30 years ago, to buy like B17. So you can really only get it in seeds. Like I said, there's some controversy on it, but it's not something I eat every day, but I do eat them several times a week. And I actually know pregnant people who eat apple seeds as their B vitamin complex, which is really interesting. Basically, there are 8 B vitamins. Collectively, they're called a B. If you get we're going to talk about a supplement that I use, a B complex vitamin, that's where you get the whole gamut of them. So B1 is thiamine, B2 is riboflavin, B3 is niacin. I don't know if you need all these names, but I just think they're interesting. B5, pantothenic acid, B6, pyridoxine, B7, biotin, B9, folate. You know that one for pregnancy, right? B12, cobalamin. So foods that are high in B vitamins are salmon. I'm just naming a few. Dark leafy greens, liver and other organ meats, eggs, legumes, beans, yogurt, nutritional yeast, and brewer's yeast. So just from this list, I can tell you there's a few things that I aim to get every single day, especially when trying to conceive, especially when pregnant. Dark leafy greens, for one. Actually, I didn't even include this in this presentation, but Young Living has a supplement called Ningxia Greens that is full of amazing greens, and it's not actually a disgusting powder. And I add it to like a chocolate smoothie for my kids. But leafy greens, liver, I either am taking it in capsules or I'm cooking with it. Like last night I made a big chicken soup and I threw all the organs in there. You know how if you buy a whole chicken and they put the organs inside, don't toss those, cook with them, buy organic, cook with them. And then of course you can throw them out after. You don't have to like actually eat them, but you can eat them too. And if that completely grosses you out, you can buy them in the capsule. But those are 2 things I aim to eat every day: leafy greens and liver or other organ meats, eggs, and nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is not the same as like baking yeast, right? Brewer's yeast is another name for it. We add this to everything. We put this on our salads. We put this on sourdough. We put this in our soups. That's another great way to get B vitamins and folate. The next thing for nourishing your hormones is omega-3 fats. Foods that are high in these are things like flaxseed, walnuts, chia seeds, salmon again, anchovies. Those are just to name a few. Antioxidants. I'm going to shake my Ningxia while I talk about antioxidants. Antioxidants, foods that are high in antioxidants are your berries, all your different berries, dark chocolate, dried fruit, dark leafy greens, and then finally minerals. And I'll break these down for you in just a minute, but some things that are high in minerals: seaweed. I love miso soup. Actually, that's like, I would say, a staple when I'm pregnant because it's just so loaded in amino acids. It's so good for you. Seaweed, almonds, Brazil nuts, bone broth. I drink bone broth every single day. Every single day I drink that. Seeds like sunflower, flax, pumpkin, sesame, cacao, figs, spirulina, avocados, dried fruit, bananas, sweet potatoes, broccoli, quinoa, all of those loaded with minerals. So that's just a few examples. I teach a course called Joy Within Birth. So for my trying to conceive pregnant mamas, you guys should definitely check that out. It's joywithinbirth.com. I go deep into nutrition because it makes that big of a difference, not just to feel good in pregnancy, but to actually feel good postpartum and to go into your birth with feeling really good. So I go deep into nutrition. And one of the things I talk about are how to drink minerals every single day. And so some examples, some easy ways to get minerals into our body is to make something called an adrenal cocktail. Anybody do this? You can buy them pre-made. Jigsaw Health makes an adrenal cocktail. You can just get a little packet. Young Living has an option I'm going to share with you in a minute. Coconut water. There's actually several brands that make pretty decent adrenal cocktail options. LMNT is one of those. It's like made with real salt and coconut water. I also use an electrolyte mix from the brand It's Needed. And there's all sorts. Jeremy drinks one pickleball branded called All Day Vitality, but there's a lot of great options. But if you want to make your own adrenal cocktail, here's how you do it. And this is actually the same approach I would take for like a labor aid or an organic Gatorade, which is wonderful for pregnancy, wonderful for postpartum. So first thing is you want to choose your vitamin C. So this can be anything like orange juice, cranberry juice, real juices, not like added sugar, pineapple, mango, guava, fresh lemon, fresh lime. Then you want to choose your potassium. So you can choose cream of tartar, you can choose aloe juice or coconut water. Then you want to choose a sodium. Okay, so you want sea salt. There's all different types. I use Redmond, I use real salt. You can use Celtic. And then this is not part of the cocktail, but optional for protein is to add collagen to it. You can also add cream or coconut cream. So that's how you make your own adrenal cocktail. All right, so let's break these down supplement wise, because I don't know about you, but I get overwhelmed when I'm given a lot of options. So to me, I want to give you just these 4 easy buttons. Again, what's so cool about these right here is I could be talking to a raging hormonal teen all the way through someone entering menopause, and I'm still going to recommend these 4 things to you. And that also goes for someone who's trying to conceive, someone who's pregnant, or someone postpartum. So, and these also, I should say, are 4 things that aren't just for women. Okay. So if for the men struggling with fertility issues as well, or men needing to balance hormones and nourish hormones, these 4 things right here. Okay, so Ningxia Red, this is super high in antioxidants. This supplement is a powerhouse. It is really nutrients that our bodies all desperately need. Ningxia Red is the highest known protection against free radicals, highest on the S-ORAC scale. It's made of a puree from goji berries, or also known as the wolfberry. And then it's got essential oils infused in it, remember, for better absorption, better digestion, and absorbing all the nutrients that are in this. I'm gonna drink this while I just. Anybody love Ningxia Red on this call? Put it in the chat. Tell us what you love about it. What do you feel when you drink this drink? So super high in antioxidants. It's also rich in ellagic acid, polyphenols, flavonoids, vitamins, minerals. It has 18 amino acids, 21 trace minerals, beta-carotene. It's got vitamins B1, B2, B6, and E. If you had a tight budget and I were to just recommend one thing to you, it would be this. It would totally be Ningxia Red. It is an excellent food, a whole food source of nutrients. So remember, going back to food is medicine, this is a puree from the goji berry. So it's going to make you feel incredible. It gives energy and strength to the body without any harmful stimulants. It doesn't have caffeine. It's got an amazingly low glycemic index of 11, so it doesn't spike blood sugar levels, but still gives your body the energy that's sustained, which is really cool. Young Living did do a clinical study with Ningxia Red. And if you're interested in reading that, you can go on their website. And when you go click on Ningxia Red, it's down at the bottom. And basically the results show that it improved energy, sleep, and mood, which is amazing. All right, the next one you see there is called Green Omega-3. This is a vegan supplement that basically serves up your daily essential fatty acids. And it's coming from algae oil, which is amazing, y'all. It supports your hormones, your health, your heart, your brain, your eyes, your immune system. You've probably heard that omega-3s are good for your heart, but I don't think a lot of people realize how crucial they are for your mood, your emotions, and your hormones. And the reason is because hormones are made from good fats like omega-3. So our bodies actually need fat to produce hormones. So when you add in a high quality source, this just makes sense. I love the algae oil form. In the past, we've had a fish oil. It was yucky. We burped up fish smelling burps. And I do believe this has a less impact on marine ecosystem. It's also reduced potential for marine contaminants. I know with fish oil, you kind of take the risk of heavy metals and things like that. So I believe, like, as far as omegas go, this is the good stuff and none of the bad stuff. My kids, by the way, Emerson and Co, are very proud of themselves that they can take swallow vitamins, and this is what they take this every single day. It's like a little small soft gel. The next one you see here is Super B. This is your B complex supplement. It's methylated. So if you know that you have any MTHFR gene mutation, you want methylated B vitamins, or you're not going to absorb it. You're not going to get any of the benefits. So B vitamins are great for maintaining your healthy energy levels, for supporting your mood, for nourishing your endocrine system. So many different things. Cognitive function. I took mine earlier. I like to take mine between like breakfast and lunchtime. And these are really great for nourishing our adrenals and our thyroids, because remember, we're talking about fight or flight and overdrive. B vitamins give both of those glands a lot of love. And it's important to note that B vitamins have to be replenished daily. They're water soluble, so they're not stored in the body. And so this is something that we would take every day, not just when we feel like we need it. But this is really great for energy levels, hormone balance, thyroid, adrenals, all of that. All right, next up on this list is mineral essence. And this is your ionic mineral complex. I love this one. It's sourced from the Great Salt Lake. So these are not minerals made in a lab. They are from the earth. Our body really needs a continual ingestion of minerals, and ideally from diet. This is a really great one, though, to add to Ningxia Red. And so I kind of like to do this as a daily shot. This includes 60 minerals, and I'm just going to name a few: iron, zinc, boron, sodium, magnesium, selenium, thallium, calcium, potassium. 60 minerals, all in that complex. It's infused with essential oils like peppermint, cinnamon bark, and lemon. So this is a great supplement here for healthy digestion. It also contains antioxidants, which is going to support your immune system. And this is going to help your body actually absorb other vitamins. We need minerals to absorb our vitamins, and making them more available and useful to the body. I noted here that there are certain like deficiencies that really affect our mental health, our emotional health. So if we are low on iron, magnesium, zinc, and selenium, all of those have been proven to affect our emotional health. And so I don't know if we consider that sometimes when we're moody and dealing with emotions, but minerals is really a really important staple that I think we all need to be just aware of. So these are just 4 supplements. I just wanted to give you those 4 as basically setting this incredible foundation for hormone health for men or women. And I am going to get into some more specifics. Let me see. I saw a chat pop up and now I cannot pull it up. So I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm going to have to, if whoever wrote, write me again and I'll see if it pops up again, or I'll just wait till the end. Okay, we're going to get into a few specifics here. Hot flashes, cramps, PMS, and the she-dragon within. So everything we've covered so far is for anyone, for men or for women, but we're going to get into a little bit of girl talk now. These hot flashes, cramps, PMS, these are obviously very common, right? But they are not normal. We shouldn't normalize these. These are all related to hormone-related conditions, and hopefully something that we can tackle and figure out. It's a good sign of hormonal imbalance when we're dealing with any of these symptoms. And the causes of what's going on, of course, hormones can play a role, but also diet, also lack of sleep, just overall inflammation can wreak havoc here, psychological and physical stress, all of those things. So let's chat about some of that. All right, so I've mentioned the endocrine system tonight several times. If you're not aware, those are your hormones, right? 2 things here I want to talk about: endodrize and endoflex. And really I want to mention too, the endocrine system, it produces hormones. And what we want, the goal that we want here is root cause healing, right? We want to balance out the chaotic state of miscommunication that's happening when things are out of balance. So the endocrine system's primary aim is to stable and balance your internal environment. So homeostasis is the goal. So real quick, there's 8 major glands that are in your endocrine system. You've got your pituitary gland, which is in your brain, hypothalamus in your brain, your thyroid, your parathyroid, your adrenals, your pineal body, and then the reproductive glands I mentioned, your testes, your ovaries, okay? So each of these are going to play a different role in the system and the function of your hormones. For sake of time, we'll just talk about a couple, but the CEO is the setup of this whole thing. This is the hypothalamus. This is directly related and directly connected to your olfactory system or your sense of smell, which I think is incredible, right? Enter the benefits of aromatherapy. Studies show that scents carry in an oil-based register immediately in your hypothalamus and bypass the brain's need to figure it out. So this is a really fast way to send signals and messages to your brain, is simply by smelling. Isn't that incredible? You've probably experienced this part before when you've smelled something and it's triggered a memory and it's triggered an emotion. There are specific spots in our brain that we can only reach through our sense of smell. All right, so Endoflex. Let's talk about Endoflex here. I just think it's important. Like, why are you talking about oils when it comes to hormones? We should just be talking about like supplements or food, but no, oils can play a major role. I want you to think of Endoflex as like the personal trainer for your endocrine system, okay? Healthy thyroid function, hormone balance, healthy metabolism, adrenal health. This blend is going to help with the pieces of the puzzle to put them all back together, basically in a way a personal trainer would when you're trying to get better fitness at the gym. This is a really beneficial blend for teenagers or kids who are developing hormonally, so that stage of life. I actually use Endoflex when my kids are having a meltdown. It's like a straight hormone balancer. This is a really good smelling blend, in my opinion. It's got spearmint, which is like a rocket pack for your metabolism and your nervous system. It's got sage, it's got geranium, which is really great for your liver and your pancreas. It's got myrtle, which is really great for your thyroid. It's got German chamomile, which is very calming to your nervous system and also really good for your liver. And it's got nutmeg, and nutmeg is like your #1 adrenal support essential oil. Like it is like the #1 I would recommend. So I want you to pair Endogize. If you're feeling like you need teenage hormone, like that type of help, pair it with Endogize. This is like the power hitter. So Endogize is meant to be a daily women's supplement. It's got essential oils in it. It's got herbs, it's got minerals, it's got ashwagandha root, which if you know anything about that, it's really well known for stress reduction and hormone balance. But Endogize also contains DHEA, which is your hormone precursor for estrogen and testosterone. So DHEA is naturally made in the body, but levels decline as we age. And so that is amazing that that is included in this one. So I'm going to give a few, as I just go through a few of these supplements and oils, I'm going to give you a few happy hormone habits. So for this pair specifically, you would apply Endoflex daily over your thyroid, over your feet, on your feet, or over your kidneys. You would take Endoflex Vitality in an empty capsule with olive oil every day. Or you could add 20 drops of Endoflex to a bath of Epsom salts and soak. Ladies, I would pair Endoflex with Endogize or Progestins Plus. We'll talk about that. And then for men, I would recommend Endoflex with Shutron, which is an essential oil blend. All right, let's talk about estrogen, progesterone. So most often when we're discussing hormones, we start to talk about these two, right? Almost all women are high in estrogen and deficient in progesterone. There's obviously exceptions. I know people who actually deal with the opposite, but I would say that is the most common imbalance that I hear of. And part of that is because things like our diet, our modern diet, our environment, environmental factors, toxic skincare, these things all lead to excess estrogen in the body. So most often than not, I deal with women who have excess estrogen and not enough progesterone. The balance of these hormones, though, are important for all women, no matter your age. Even those who have had a hysterectomy, it's important to balance those hormones. So progesterone, if you don't know, is produced in the ovaries and the adrenal glands. And then when you're pregnant, it's produced by the placenta starting around 12 weeks. And progesterone is stored in fat. Progesterone is not just needed for your reproductive system, it's also needed for your nervous system. So this is why when it's out of balance, you probably feel out of control or just out of sync. So this is not just about having babies or a monthly cycle. This is about the way that our bodies function and communicate on a cellular level. And progesterone, I think it's a misconception that we think we only need it in our childbearing years. That's not true. It is a part of female health until we die. It's a part of our female nature. So estrogen is also very important. Estrogen has to first attach to a cell, then it basically grabs hands with progesterone. So if the progesterone isn't there, the estrogen will inhibit the whole entire chemical process that's supposed to happen. And so that's how that wreaks havoc. Estrogen needs the progesterone. But we also still we need good estrogen too. It's the other half of this puzzle here. We get a lot of xenoestrogens, which are artificial estrogens from things like foods, plastic that surrounds our foods, chemicals in our home, medications, all of that. And our bodies cannot process it the same way. So in today's society, women's bodies at all ages are full of estrogen that can't even go into our cell receptors properly and can't hang on to the progesterone. So it's just kind of in chemical imbalance chaos happening. So bottom line here, both of those are important, but they need to be in balance with one another. So let's talk about a couple things for estrogen and progesterone real quick. I don't know who here needs a quick rundown of our menstrual cycle. I'm going to do it super quick because I know my friends on here wanted this for her teenage daughter. So let me just real quick do a brief overview of the female hormone cycle. I think it's really important for us to know this and to teach this because first of all, if we know how our cycle works, then we know how to support our body well, right? In all the different phases. If we know how our cycle works, we can understand why we feel certain ways on certain days. And if we know how our cycle works, we can create nourishing wellness routines that meet our body's specific needs during those specific times. So here's a brief overview. Phase 1 is the first week of your cycle, right? So starting on day 1, menstrual phase, and that's the first day of your period through day 7. So basically on day 1 of your cycle, progesterone plunges and the lining of the uterus sheds, right? That's when you bleed. Estrogen levels are also at their lowest, and throughout the week of bleeding, estrogen starts a steady climb. During this week, your energy is the lowest in your cycle, and this is maybe when you feel tired and withdrawn, and you may want to rest more, and that is okay, and that is normal. If possible, take a day off, listen to your body. Phase 2, that's week 2, the follicular phase. This is week 2, day 8 to ovulation of your cycle. So obviously this is following just after menstruation ends, and it's called the follicular phase because your pituitary gland in your brain releases a hormone called follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. And that's going to stimulate the follicles in your ovaries to mature. And then estrogen and testosterone are rising in this stage until they peak. So fun fact for you guys who like to work out, you build more muscle and you build it faster when you do resistance exercise in the first half of your cycle, week 1 and week 2, compared to the second half of your cycle. Fun fact. And that's thanks to your rising estrogen. All right, phase 3 of your cycle is your ovulatory phase. This begins the day after ovulation and lasts about 8 days. So ovulation is basically the culmination of all the hard work your body's been doing over the last couple of weeks. An egg gets released from its follicle in your ovary, so it will survive around about 12 to 24 hours. During this week, your progesterone is rising. Estrogen and testosterone also rise to their peak levels, making you feel really great. So ovulation is a great time to teach, to interview, to try out for something. Like ovulation is when you're shining, when you're attracting, when you have that good energy. The last phase, phase 4, is your luteal phase. This is week 4. That's the final 6 days of your cycle. Basically, the first 2 to 3 days of this phase can feel a lot like the ovulatory phase. And that changes when estrogen and testosterone decline as your body starts producing more progesterone. Remember, this is when, if you're trying to get pregnant, your pregnancy is sticking in this phase. So the second half of this phase is notoriously difficult for many women. This is when women will start getting PMS or cravings for heavy carb loaded foods or comfort foods. This is maybe when you experience bloating or headaches or breast tenderness or anxiety or moodiness. Those are all symptoms that you're dealing with in that phase from hormonal imbalance. So clearly the levels of hormones in our body, they're meant to fluctuate. That is so normal throughout the cycle, right? But almost all women are starting at a hormone deficit, at least with progesterone is what I see a lot. And that makes all these symptoms of each phase even more acute. So let's talk about estrogen and progesterone, a couple things that can be your BFF. Okay, so first up, progestin plus. Our bodies really respond well to natural hormones. They're easily recognized in the body. So we love phytoprogesterones like progestin plus. This is a girl's BFF. It's a pure progesterone serum. It's made from wild yams and it's infused with sacred frankincense essential oil, which is like gold, liquid gold. This serum easily absorbs into your skin. It's also got containing nourishing oils like copaiba, cedarwood, bergamot, peppermint, and clove. So added benefits with those oils for supporting and stabilizing your mood. I personally take progestin plus at night because the progesterone makes me sleepy. Fun fact, clinical studies have shown that essential oils enhance the ability of natural hormones to penetrate the skin, allowing us even more benefit. So because essential oils are in this wild yam serum, they're going to get into your bloodstream quicker and absorb even more efficiently. And I know there's not a lot of great natural progesterone options out there. Synthetic progesterone, if you don't know, is cancer causing. So we don't want to mess with synthetic progesterone if we can help it. Another great option here is Femigen. This is a twice daily supplement. It also contains whole food herbs like wild yam, Dahmania, Dong Quai. It's got amino acids. It's got great essential oils like clary sage, fennel, ylang-ylang, and sage. So this supplement supports the female reproductive system through estrogen balance specifically. So if you know that your estrogen is off, Femigen is a really good option for you to balance your estrogen. If you know your progesterone is off and you need to target supplementing progesterone, progestin plus is a good option for you. So happy hormone habits with these two would look like applying progestin plus daily to your wrist or to the front of your throat. I personally do 5 drops under my tongue. That's off label. That's just how I do it. Take Femigen twice a day. And then, of course, this whole time, don't neglect maintaining your baseline supplements, which are nourishing your hormones. So your Ningxia Red, your Mineral Essence, your Super B, and your green omega-3s. All right, thyroid, we've got an awesome option for you here. I cannot personally speak for Thyromin as I've never taken it, but I know plenty of women who will sing the praises of Thyromin. And here's the deal, y'all. You're not meant to be on these things for life. The goal is healing at the root cause, right? So don't think that you're going to be on a supplement forever. But if your thyroid is in trouble and it needs love, let me read to you a little bit about Thyromin. So this is a really great natural option because it contains bovine glandular extracts. So this is not like a synthetic form of the thyroid gland. This is from a cow. It also contains herbs, amino acids, and other minerals to support a healthy thyroid function. If you don't know a lot about what's going on with your thyroid, it is a butterfly-shaped organ located in the base of your neck, and it releases hormones. Your thyroid releases T3 and T4. These are often measured on lab work, but they control your metabolism and so many other functions. Obviously, I mentioned fertility, but your heart rate, your body weight, your energy levels, your menstrual cycles, your muscle strength, cholesterol, all of that the thyroid plays a role with all of that. So really important for us to nourish the thyroid gland. I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but a couple other oils and things I wanted to mention for thyroid specifically. Endoflex, I already mentioned that one to you guys. Myrtle oil, myrrh oil, Idaho blue spruce, and nutmeg. Those are all really great. So happy hormone habits for thyroid love specifically would be to take Thyromin first thing in the morning before any other medications or supplements. to apply nutmeg and or Endoflex daily. And then we're going to talk about some oils to diffuse, but energy or nutmeg would be great to diffuse if you're feeling like you need some thyroid support. All right, adrenal glands. Let's talk about adrenals real quick. So I have a supplement here called Powergize. If you're not familiar, your adrenal glands are small organs. They sit on top of the kidneys. They maintain and boost your energy. So many things can affect our thyroids. I mentioned how I shot mine, just lack of sleep and stress, putting too much on my plate, excessive caffeine, lack of sleep, emotional stress, demanding schedules, other hormonal balance things going on, diet, too much alcohol. All of those things can damage your adrenals and cause them to fatigue. So here's a few questions I want to ask you, rhetorical questions that if you have the answer yes to several of these, I want you to focus on your adrenals. Okay. Do you have difficulty awaking from sleep in the morning? Do you hit the snooze button multiple times? Do you need caffeine to get going in the morning? Have you gained weight, specifically around the middle area? Do you feel like you get every bug that's going around, like your immune system is shot? Do you have more difficulty dealing with stress and deadline pressure than you used to? Do you frequently feel lightheaded when you stand up too quick? Do you struggle with brain fog or poor memory? Do you feel especially tired in the mornings and then again in the afternoons between 3 and 5? Do you feel the need to snack or eat frequently to maintain normal blood sugar? Do you crave salty foods? Do you feel extremely tired between 7 to 10 p.m., but then get a second wind if you stay up later? And the reason for that would be because that's the time of day when your adrenals heal during sleep. If you are a female, which I think everyone on this call is, do you struggle with PMS, heavy bleeding, moodiness, fatigue during your menstrual cycle? If you're a male, do you struggle with things like stamina, energy, or ability to maintain muscles? Do you frequently have pain in your upper back or your neck for no apparent reason? Those are all signs and red flags that your adrenals need some help. So they are basically begging you for minerals, for B vitamins, and for nutrients, and for rest. And so Powergize is a really awesome supplement where it has tons of herbs and essential oils that are specifically going to support your endocrine system and give your adrenals a boost. You've got blue spruce oil, you've got goldenrod and cassia. Those are all great for boosting stamina and performance. My husband orders this every single month. It's like part of his workout regimen. It also contains ashwagandha root herb, which I mentioned, or extract I mentioned earlier. It's really, really great. It's adaptogen, so it helps your body manage stress. It also gives your adrenals the rest they need. It also includes vitamin B6, magnesium, and zinc, and fenugreek, which are all nourishing to your adrenals and just overall endocrine system. So great option here for men. So happy hormone habits here would be to pair Powergize with Super B, and to add Ningxia Red with mineral essence for daily adrenal love. Okay, not too much more here. Thanks for sticking it out. I know this is a lot. All right, let's talk about stress for a minute because stress can take a big toll. I'm going to talk about a couple of things here, but basically, stress stored and fought by the body is possibly the #1 health danger that we face. It is a danger to so many pieces of our physical and mental health. It causes inflammation in our body. It wreaks havoc in our body when we don't deal with it. So our adrenals can go into overdrive, which causes cortisol levels to go up. High levels of cortisol can cause the body to scavenge for protein, because your body wants to convert that to glucose to provide more energy to your brain to deal with stress. And this basically depresses your entire immune system. What happens is adrenaline will kick in, and when your adrenals spike and give you that energy, then they'll crash after that happens. And so this is why I'm asking questions like, do you get tired or overwhelmed easily or have a hard time getting out of bed? It's a vicious cycle. So when cortisol is produced too frequently, it can cause a lot of fatigue. It can mess with your weight gain. So many different issues, right? So when cortisol levels are chronically high, it's affecting this entire axis. It's the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So we don't want this, right? And there's a really great supplement that Young Living has called Cortistop. Cortistop is herbs and essential oils that's basically designed to help your body react when your body produces cortisol when you're under stress. Cortisol helps to naturally balance the stress response by first lowering the calming the body and then lowering the cortisol levels. Um, Cortisol also contains DHEA and pregnenolone, which are both precursors to hormones that we mentioned earlier. And both of these things will help decrease the production of cortisol. And another great option here is, oh, I didn't put a picture of it, but it's called PD 80/20. This is 80% the P, pregnenolone, 20% D, DHEA. Another great option if you don't want to take the cortisol. Cortisol, I need to mention though, is cortisol is a good thing, right? It's a good thing that our body has and produces, but we don't want it in excess. So this is a supplement that you actually take for 2 to 4 weeks, and then you take a break, and then you take a 2 to 4 week break, and then pick it back up. So happy hormone habits here would be either cortisol, when you do that 2 capsules in the morning before breakfast, and then 2 capsules before bed. Use it daily. You can do about 8 weeks, and then you discontinue for 2 to 4 weeks before resuming again. We don't want our body to stop producing cortisol altogether, but we want to lower that and the effects that it's having. Another thing here is just to start with 1 capsule a day, and then you can increase it as needed, but always pairing it with those nutritionals that we mentioned in the very beginning. Okay, almost done here. Emotions. These are big and they can be really heavy sometimes, and they absolutely affect our physical health more than we realize. They're a huge piece of the health puzzle. And really, emotions are just simply reactions to responses to events or situations that we're in. And there is a physical reason, there's a physical response for every emotion that we deal with. And when we don't deal with emotions and when they're buried, this is when physical things can manifest. I don't have time to go into the emotional healing aspect tonight, but I've taught this class so many times. It's so important, and you can find that on the YouTube channel, where I go more into the science of how things get stored in our body emotionally and how they affect the physical body. But I just wanted to mention here, because aromatherapy, which is breathing in essential oils, remember, it sends messages to your brain throughout your cranial nerves and your limbic system. So when we inhale an oil, it can trigger that area to reset, to rest, and to recharge. Basically, in a nutshell, the part of the brain where new nerve cells are created is connected to the part that processes emotions, and all of that is connected to our sense of smell. So 2 favorites here that I want to mention for emotions and hormones are nutmeg and energy. Nutmeg is very inexpensive too. These are like very just if you're on a lower budget, those oils could be really, really beneficial for not a big penny. But nutmeg is a really, you know, the smell of nutmeg. It's very warm, it's very energizing, but it's a great nourishment for your adrenal glands. It also helps manage stress and immune health. It basically sends like a hello signal to your tired brain. So if you're feeling overworked for your thyroid and your adrenals, then nutmeg is a great option. Another favorite here is energy, and that is also, I read this earlier and I thought this was so cool, that energy helps process deeper emotions like overwhelmed or isolation. So because both of those things can make you feel like you're in survival mode and make you feel exhausted and fatigued. So if that resonates with you, energy might be a good option for you. If you feel like you're in survival mode, or like your hormones are just out of whack, or maybe if you are one who bottles emotions and doesn't like to let them out a whole lot, this is a really good one for kind of instilling a sense of connectedness. And then I don't have this in my slide, but there's another oil called Release, that when you're ready and you feel like you're ready to release some deeper harboring emotions, maybe things like unforgiveness, bitterness, take a bath with Epsom salts and release and see what happens. So energy and nutmeg, I would diffuse those daily if you're dealing with fatigue on like that adrenal health level, thyroid. I would also recommend joy oil, and I would partner that with like a healthy habit like journaling. All right, I think this is my last slide here. As we age, this is for my ladies that are entering into menopause or in menopause. But basically, as our hormone levels, as we age, our hormone levels still continue to fluctuate during and after having children. So my postpartum moms and into menopause. every stage we're going to need estrogen support, but even during and after menopause too. So there's several options here. First up is regnenolone. This is a moisturizing cream, and it is a natural estrogen support cream. It's got plant-based phytoestrogens. It's super soothing to the skin. This is a great alternative to the conventional estrogen creams on the market. It's made with wild yam, which remember is a phytoprogesterone. It's got black and blue cohosh, which are phytoestrogens. It's also got St. John's wort and other adaptogenic herbs, which are soothing to adrenal glands and also great for regulating emotions. And the blend of essential oils is specifically going to help absorption because remember, this is a topical cream. Next up is Prenolone Plus Body Cream. This is similar to regnenolone, but it has one added ingredient. It's got DHEA. It also has actually ginkgo biloba extract and green tea leaf extract. Remember, DHEA is your hormone precursor for estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So if you are just lacking in hormones in general, Prenolone Plus is what you need. Last up is Fluorescence. This is a really beautiful smelling oil blend of clary sage, peppermint, Spanish sage, and fennel. Pregnant women don't use this one. These are like uterine toning oils. This is rich in phytoestrogens. So if you are lacking estrogen, vaginal dryness, this is an oil for you. This is one that you want to use specifically during the follicular cycle, days 1 through 14. Also incredibly important for women during and after menopause. This can affect things like hot flashes, mood swings, and osteoporosis. All right, so healthy hormone habits here would be either using regnenolone moisturizing cream or Prenolone Plus cream daily, adding Fluorescence Plus to your routine, whether that's diffusing while you sleep or wearing it like perfume. And then, of course, all the baseline nutritionals that we mentioned in the very beginning. If you need to increase estrogen more, I would recommend Dragon Thyme or Clary Sage. All right, I think that's it. Okay, I want to mention too the silver bullet. To me, the thing that if you are just like desperately, I need a hormone reset. I felt like this once in my pregnancy. I felt like, okay, I just need energy. Like I am really lacking. I know when I lack energy, I'm not motivated to eat healthy or to move my body. So for me, the reset is the perfect easy button for trying to conceive, balancing hormones, for pregnancy, for postpartum. I did this again at 6 weeks postpartum this past, like with Jude. And I can attest to how incredibly powerful it is and how just good you're going to feel. Has anyone done this? If you've done this, please put in the chat what your experience has been like with it. But Jeremy and I just talked about it recently. We're like, we are going to make sure, I'm looking for my notes on it, that we're going to do this every other month. Like this is not like a once a year thing for us. We want to do the Ningxia reset every other month because it makes that big of a difference just in our daily like quality of life. So this is your Ningxia red that we mentioned in the very beginning. This provides all that energy without caffeine. So my pregnant moms, you should have at it. It's also going to improve sleep, also reduces daily stress for just improving emotional well-being. It's got the daily servings on there. You don't need to know anything. You order the reset kit, it arrives, it tells you how much to take on every single day, day 1 through 14. You can pair it with, like when I do it, I also pair it with drinking enough water, clean eating, eliminating sugar. You can do it however you want. But if you just did just the Ningxia Red, you're going to feel the health benefits of this. So I put a QR code. If you scan this right now, this is going to pull up basically my Happy Hormones Wellness box. So you'll see the Ningxia Reset in there. You'll see the omegas in there. You'll see the minerals. You can add to cart. You don't have to add them all. You can just pick the things that you want. But if you scan that, you should see them all pull up. The other thing I wanted to mention just in closing is if you want specific trainings, if you are struggling to get pregnant and you want more on fertility, if you are wanting more on aging well, if you want more on pregnancy, like wherever you're at on this journey, text hormones to that number right there. That is my business cell phone. I do have an automated response set up that you can see, but that's a great way just to connect with me and reach out and tell me what trainings that you could use. So this was long. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to go back real quick and turn off this recording.